Title: 3 Disturbing Instagram Horror Investigations with Chilling Evidence. Case File 01, The Account That Knew Too Much. The message appeared at exactly 2:13 a.m. No vibration. No notification sound. No banner sliding across the top of the screen. Just there. When Hannah Cole unlocked her phone, the sudden glow illuminated her dorm room in a cold, bluish light. The rest of the space remained swallowed in darkness, corners barely visible, shadows stretching unnaturally along the walls. She would later insist, repeatedly, that she never heard the message come in. It didn't arrive. It simply existed. You left your window open again. At first, Hannah didn't react. Her brain, still heavy with sleep, tried to process it like any other late-night message, random, harmless, probably sent by someone bored or drunk or half awake. She blinked. Read it again. Then tapped the profile. No picture. No posts. No followers. No following. Just a username made entirely of numbers. Her thumb hovered over the screen for a moment. Then, slowly, she turned her head. Her window. Still open. A faint breeze drifted into the room, cool against her skin. The thin curtain beside it shifted slightly, brushing against the wall with a soft, almost rhythmic movement. Hannah sat up. Fully awake now. The silence in the room felt heavier than before. Outside, the campus courtyard was empty. A single dim light flickered near a pathway, barely illuminating the ground beneath it. Trees swayed gently, their shadows stretching and bending in unnatural shapes across the pavement. There was no one there. No movement. No sound. Still, something didn't feel right. Then, her phone buzzed. She flinched. The sound felt louder than it should have. Another message. Same account. You should close it. It's colder tonight than yesterday. This time, her stomach tightened. That wasn't random. That wasn't vague. That was specific. Hannah slowly swung her legs off the bed. Her feet touched the cold floor, grounding her just enough to move. She walked toward the window. Each step felt louder than it should have, the quiet of the room amplifying every small sound. When she reached it, she hesitated. Not because she expected to see someone, but because she suddenly wasn't sure she wouldn't. She leaned forward slightly, glancing down into the courtyard. Still empty. Still silent. Still wrong. She closed the window. Locked it. Her hand lingered on the latch for a second longer than necessary. Then she stepped back. Her eyes drifted down to her phone again. The chat remained open. Waiting. Silent. Watching. She tapped the profile again. Nothing. No trace. No identity. No explanation. Just that one thought, settling deeper into her mind. How did they know it was open? That question stayed with her long after she turned off her phone. Long after she laid back down. Long after she closed her eyes. Because for the first time since moving into that dorm, Hannah didn't feel alone. The messages didn't stop. They didn't flood her phone. They didn't come constantly. They came, strategically. Always late at night. Always when she was alone. Always when the world around her was quiet enough that she couldn't ignore them. The next one came 2 nights later. You skipped your morning class. Hannah frowned at the screen. That wasn't unusual. People skip classes all the time. But then, you stayed in bed until 11:40. Her chest tightened slightly. That was more specific. Still explainable, she told herself. Maybe someone in her building. Someone who noticed. Someone guessing. But the messages kept coming. And each one stripped away another layer of doubt. You always sit near the back row. You check your phone every few minutes when you're nervous. You didn't finish your lunch today. That last one stayed with her. Because she hadn't told anyone that. Hadn't posted about it. Hadn't even mentioned it in passing conversation. She had simply thrown it away. Quietly. Alone. That's when her behavior began to change. At first, it was subtle. She switched seats in class. Stopped going to her usual cafe. Avoided predictable routines. She started watching people more closely. Faces. Movements. Anyone who lingered too long. Anyone who looked twice. But no one stood out. No one seemed out of place. Which made it worse. Because it meant whoever was watching her was good at it. The next message came that same night. You changed seats today. Her heart dropped. She stared at the screen. Another message followed immediately. Still doesn't help. That was the moment the fear became real. Not loud. Not explosive. but constant. Like a pressure sitting on her chest. Breathing became something she had to think about. Sleeping became something she avoided. Even being alone in her room started to feel different. Like the space itself had changed. Like it was no longer entirely hers. The turning point came on a Thursday night. Rain tapped steadily against the window, creating a soft but persistent sound that filled the silence. Most students had already left campus for the weekend. The hallways were quieter than usual. Too quiet. Hannah returned to her dorm at exactly 11:07 p.m. She locked the door behind her. Checked it. Then checked it again. The room looked normal. Everything where it should be. Nothing disturbed. She exhaled slowly. Tried to relax. Then, her phone lit up. She didn't want to check it. But she did. You forgot to check the closet. Her body went completely still. Every muscle locked. Slowly, she turned her head. The closet door was slightly open. Just a few inches. Not enough to be obvious. But enough. Enough to feel wrong. Her breathing became shallow. Her mind scrambled to find a logical explanation. Maybe I left it like that. But she knew she didn't. She always closed it. Always. Her phone buzzed again. Go ahead. Look. That was it. The moment everything broke. Hannah didn't step forward. She stepped back. Slowly at first. Then faster. Her eyes locked on the closet as if something might move. As if something inside might shift. Her heart pounded violently in her chest. Then, she turned. And ran. Out of the room. Down the hallway. Her footsteps echoing loudly against the walls. Her breath uneven. Sharp. Panicked. She didn't stop until she reached the stairwell. Her hands shook so badly she nearly dropped her phone trying to call campus security. When they arrived, she could barely speak. Campus security searched the room immediately. Closet. Bathroom. Under the bed. Behind furniture. Nothing. No one. No signs of forced entry. No broken locks. No disturbed items. Everything looked untouched. Except for one detail. The window. Unlocked. Hannah knew she had locked it. She remembered doing it. Clearly. But now, it wasn't. That's when the situation escalated beyond campus security. Campus police got involved. They traced the Instagram account. It moved constantly. Public Wi-Fi networks. Libraries. Cafes. Study lounges. Whoever was behind it understood how to avoid detection. They didn't stay in one place. They didn't leave patterns. They didn't make obvious mistakes. Except one. A message sent too quickly. Too closely timed to Hannah's real-world movements. It gave investigators a window. A location. A study lounge in a neighboring building. Security footage revealed him. Sitting alone in the corner. Still. Unmoving. Watching something on his phone. Replaying it. Again. And again. He didn't look nervous. Didn't look cautious. He looked focused. Like someone observing something important. They identified him within days. A graduate student. Quiet. Forgettable. The kind of person people pass every day without noticing. He had no connection to Hannah. No shared classes. No conversations. No reason to stand out. Which is exactly why he didn't. The truth came out during questioning. And it was worse than expected. He hadn't hacked anything. Hadn't accessed her accounts. Hadn't used advanced tools. He simply watched. He noticed her patterns. Followed her routine. Sat in places where she couldn't see him, but he could see her. He learned everything. Where she sat today. When she left. When she returned. What she did when she was alone. The messages weren't guesses. They were confirmations. And the closet? He admitted it. Without hesitation. Earlier that day, he had entered her dorm. The door had been unlocked. He walked in. Quietly. Carefully. He looked around. Opened the closet. Stood there for a moment. Then left. He didn't take anything. Didn't move anything. Didn't need to. Because the goal wasn't theft. It wasn't damage. It was something far worse. Presence. The knowledge that he could be there. That he had been there. And that she wouldn't know until he decided she should. Hannah transferred schools less than 2 months later. The account disappeared. The case faded. But the feeling didn't. Even now. She checks every room before she enters. Every closet before she sleeps. Every window before she turns off the lights. Because once someone proves they can watch you, you never really feel alone again. Case File 02, the close friends list. Liam had always trusted the system. Not blindly, but enough. Enough to believe that if you adjusted the right settings, selected the right people, kept your circle small, you were safe. That's what the close friends list was for. A controlled space. Private. Limited. Secure. At least, that's what he thought. The story he posted at 1:07 a.m. wasn't important. It wasn't personal. It wasn't revealing. Just a short clip of his apartment. TV flickering softly in the dark, muted voices from a late-night show blending into the steady rhythm of rain tapping against the window. His feet rested on the coffee table. The room dim. Comfortable. Normal. It was the kind of post you make when you're bored. When you want someone, anyone, to notice you're still awake. Within seconds. A reaction. Fire. Liam barely paid attention at first. He tapped it casually. Then froze. The name. Ethan R. It didn't register immediately. But when it did, something inside him shifted. Ethan wasn't just someone he knew. He was someone from years ago. High school. A few brief conversations. Nothing meaningful. Nothing recent. Nothing that would justify him being on that list. Liam sat up slowly. His eyes narrowed as he opened the viewer's list. 12 people. Exactly 12. The same 12 he had carefully selected months ago. He checked again. Once. Twice. 3 times. Ethan wasn't there. But the reaction was real. Still sitting there. Still attached to the story. Still impossible. A subtle tension crept into his chest. Not fear. Not yet. Just confusion. Then his phone buzzed. A message. From Ethan. Nice place. Liam stared at the words. Then another message came through. Smaller than I expected. That's when the confusion turned into something else. Because Liam had never posted his apartment publicly. Never tagged the location. Never shared anything that could give away where he lived. Not even indirectly. The silence in the room suddenly felt louder. The rain outside sharper. More present. He looked around instinctively. The apartment was the same as it had been moments ago. Nothing moved. Nothing changed. Everything normal. But something no longer felt right. Liam removed Ethan immediately. Blocked him. Restricted everything. His fingers moved quickly, almost instinctively, as if acting fast enough could undo what had already happened. He told himself it was a glitch. A delayed reaction. Some kind of platform error. That had to be it. Because the alternative didn't make sense. It wasn't possible. He placed his phone face down on the table. Tried to ignore the growing tension in his chest. Focused on the TV. On the sound. On anything that felt normal. Then, his phone buzzed again. He froze. Slowly, he picked it up. Another message. From a different account. Blank profile. No picture. No posts. You blocked the wrong one. The words didn't hit all at once. They settled. Slowly. Uncomfortably. Like something sinking into place. Then another message came through. You should fix that back door. Liam's grip tightened around his phone. His eyes lifted. Down the hallway. The back door sat at the far end. Closed. Still. Exactly where it should be. But something about it felt off. He couldn't explain it. It looked normal. But it didn't feel normal. The silence in the apartment deepened. The kind of silence that makes small sounds stand out. And then, he heard it. A faint noise. Soft. Subtle. Almost nothing. Like weight shifting against wood. From inside the apartment. Liam didn't move. Didn't breathe. His heart began to pound, slow at first, then faster. He strained to listen. Nothing. Just silence again. Then his phone buzzed. You heard that? That was the moment fear took over completely. Cold. Immediate. Unavoidable. Liam stood up slowly, every movement deliberate, controlled. His eyes locked on the hallway. The back door. Still closed. Still unmoving. But now it felt different. Like something was between him and it. Something unseen. He took a step forward. Then stopped. Another message. Don't. His body locked. Every instinct screamed at him to run. To get out. To not check. To not confirm. Because once you confirm something like that, you can't undo it. Another sound. Closer this time. A faint shift. Like someone adjusting their position. Inside. Liam didn't think anymore. He grabbed his keys, his phone, and ran. Out the front door. Down the hallway. Out of the building. The cold night air hit him hard, sharp against his skin as he fumbled to call the police. His hands shook so badly he nearly dropped his phone. The police arrived within minutes. 2 officers entered the apartment. Liam waited outside, standing in the rain, breathing uneven, his mind replaying every second, every sound, every message. Time stretched. Each minute felt longer than the last. Then, the door opened. 1 officer stepped out, followed by another, and behind them, a man, in handcuffs, head down, silent. Liam's stomach dropped. He recognized him instantly. Ethan. But something about him looked different. Not older. Not changed. Just wrong. Like someone who didn't belong in that space, but had been there anyway. The officers explained everything later. Ethan had been inside the apartment. 4 hours. Hiding. In a narrow storage space beneath the stairs. A place Liam rarely used. A place he never checked. He had been there. Watching. Listening. Waiting. His phone still open when they found him. Still on Liam's Instagram story. Still refreshing. Still observing in real time. The investigation uncovered the method. Weeks earlier, Liam had logged into Instagram on a shared computer at a co-working space. He forgot to log out. Ethan had been there. Seen it. Accessed it. And instead of doing something obvious, he did nothing. At least, at first. He didn't post. Didn't message. Didn't change settings. He simply stayed. Watched. Learned. Studied. Through the account, he saw everything. Stories. Patterns. Habits. Locations hinted through backgrounds. Timing. Routine. And slowly, he built a plan. The close friends list wasn't hacked. It was accessed. Quietly. Patiently. Without detection. And when he knew enough, he acted. Entered the apartment through the back door Liam rarely used. The one that didn't always lock properly. The one Liam never thought about. He let himself in. Hid. And waited. Not for hours. For weeks. For the right moment. When Liam would be distracted. Relaxed. Alone. And then, he revealed himself. Not physically. Not immediately. But digitally. Through the one place Liam believed was safe. Private. Controlled. The close friends list. Liam moved out 2 days later. Didn't pack everything. Didn't go back alone. And even now, he doesn't use close friends anymore. Because he understands something most people don't. Privacy settings don't protect you from someone who's already inside. Clapperboard case file 03, the live that never ended. Maya didn't usually go live. She wasn't that kind of creator. No schedules. No announcements. No going live at 8 p.m. guys, energy. When she posted, it was casual. Quick. Controlled. A picture. A short video. Something she could edit, review, and delete if it didn't feel right. Live video was different. Live meant no control. And Maya liked control. That's why it stood out. The notification. Unexpected. Out of place. You are now live. Maya frowned. She hadn't touched the live button. In fact, her phone had been sitting on her desk for the past 10 minutes while she brushed her teeth. She walked back into her room slowly, wiping her hands on her hoodie. The phone screen was glowing. Front camera active. Recording. Streaming. Her room appeared on the screen exactly as it was. Messy bed. Laptop open. Dim yellow light from the lamp in the corner. Everything normal. Except the angle. Maya picked up the phone. Turned it slightly. Looked at the screen again. Her expression shifted. Because the camera angle didn't match how she was holding it. Not exactly. It was slightly higher. Tilted. As if it had been placed somewhere else. Her grip tightened. She rotated the phone again. The feed adjusted, but not instantly. A fraction of a second delay. Small. Almost nothing. But enough. Enough to feel wrong. Then she noticed something else. Viewers. 3 watching. Maya's stomach dropped slightly. She hadn't shared the live. Hadn't announced it. It just started. And somehow, people were already there. She tapped the viewer list. 3 usernames. All unfamiliar. All blank profiles. No posts. No pictures. No followers. Just there. Watching. Okay, this is weird. She laughed softly. The kind of laugh people make when something isn't funny, but they don't want to admit it yet. She tapped end live. The screen froze. Buffering. Spinning. Then. Error. Unable to end live stream. Her smile faded. She tried again. Same result. The viewers remained. Still watching. No comments. No reactions. Just silent presence. Then. A comment appeared. From one of them. Turn around. Maya blinked. Her eyes slowly lifted from the screen. Toward the room behind her. Nothing. Just the same quiet space. The same dim lighting. The same stillness. She swallowed. Looked back at the phone. Another comment. Not that way. Her chest tightened. A subtle shift. Something inside her beginning to register danger before her mind fully caught up. Then the third comment appeared. Behind you. Maya didn't move. Didn't turn. Didn't breathe. The silence in the room felt heavier now. Thicker. Like something had entered it without making a sound. Her grip on the phone tightened. Her pulse loud in her ears. She stared at the screen. At the live feed. And that's when she saw it. A shape. In the background. Near the corner of the room. Where the light didn't fully reach. Something darker than the shadows around it. Still. Unmoving. But not part of the room. Maya turned. Fast. Too fast. Her chair scraped loudly against the floor as she spun around. The corner was empty. Nothing there. No movement. No person. No shape. Just shadow. Exactly where it should be. Her breathing became uneven. She looked back at the phone. The live was still running. The viewer still there. And the shadow. Still visible on the screen. Maya's brain struggled to catch up. To make sense of what she was seeing. Because it didn't align. Didn't match reality. In the room, nothing. On the screen, something. She stood up slowly. Her movements cautious now. Measured. Eyes flicking between the corner of the room and the phone screen. Step by step, she moved closer. The shadow on the screen didn't move. Didn't shift. Didn't react. It just remained. Exactly in that spot. Watching. Her hand trembled slightly as she reached the corner. She extended her arm. Slowly. Carefully. Into the space where the shadow appeared on the screen. Nothing. Her hand passed through empty air. She waved it slightly. Still nothing. But on the phone. Her hand disappeared. Consumed by the shadow. Like it had entered something solid. Something real. Maya jerked her hand back instantly. Her breath catching in her throat. That was impossible. It didn't make sense. It couldn't. And yet, she saw it. Clear as anything. Her phone buzzed again. A new comment. You see it now. Another. Don't touch it again. Her chest tightened further. A cold sensation creeping up her spine. Not fear anymore. Something deeper. Something instinctive. Like her body recognizing danger before her mind could define it. She backed away from the corner. Slowly at first. Then faster. Her eyes never leaving the screen. The shadow remained. Unmoving. But now. It felt different. Closer. Even though it hadn't moved. The viewer count changed. For watching. Maya froze. A new username appeared. Unlike the others. This one had a profile picture. Blurry. Dark. Indistinct. She tapped it. The page loaded slowly. And when it did, her breath stopped. It was her room. A photo. Taken from inside. From a different angle. Near the doorway. Looking inward. At her bed. Her desk. Her lamp. Everything exactly where it was. Except the timestamp. Taken 3 minutes ago. Maya's heart slammed violently against her chest. Her eyes snapped toward the door. Closed. Locked. Exactly as she left it. But now, it didn't feel like a barrier. It felt like a suggestion. The comments started coming faster now. Not frantic. Not chaotic. Just steady. Controlled. You should leave. But don't run. Running makes it worse. Maya's breathing became shallow. Her thoughts scattered. Nothing made sense anymore. Nothing felt stable. Then, the shadow moved. Not quickly. Not suddenly. But slowly enough that she could see it happen. A shift. A subtle change in shape. Like something adjusting its position. Inside the screen. Inside the room. No movement. Still nothing. But on the live. It had changed. Maya dropped the phone. The screen cracked slightly as it hit the floor. But the live didn't end. It continued. Now angled upward from the ground, capturing her. And the corner. And the shadow. Which was now taller. She ran. Maya didn't stop until she reached the hallway. Her breathing erratic. Her hands shaking uncontrollably. Other residents stared as she passed. Confused. Concerned. But she didn't stop. Didn't explain. Didn't look back. Campus security responded quickly. Faster than expected. They entered her room. Checked everything. Closet. Bathroom. Windows. Nothing. No one. No signs of entry. No disturbance. Everything normal. Except for her phone. Still on the floor. Still live. Still streaming. The officers reviewed the footage. Right there. In the room. Maya standing behind them. Watching. Reliving every second. At first. Nothing. Just the room. Just her. Just the same angle. Then. The corner. The shadow. Visible. Clear. Unmistakable. One of the officers paused the video. Zoomed in. Enhanced the image. And that's when it changed everything. Because the shadow wasn't just a shape. It had structure. Form. Depth. A silhouette. Standing. Facing the camera. But here's what made it worse. When they compared the footage. Frame by frame. They found something impossible. The shadow appeared in the live feed. Before the live even started. Timestamp discrepancy. By exactly 7 seconds. Meaning? For 7 seconds. The stream showed something that wasn't being recorded yet. Something that wasn't in the room. Something that shouldn't exist. The account that started the live was never traced. No login. No IP. No device record. Nothing. As if it had never existed. Maya deleted all her social media the next day. Moved out within the week. Never went live again. But the recording. It still circulates. Buried in obscure forums. Re-uploaded. Shared. Analyzed. Debated. And every version shows the same thing. At the very beginning of the stream. Before Maya enters the frame. Before the room is even fully visible. There's already someone there. Standing in the corner. Waiting. When you're ready. Case file 04 gets even more gru.